Hi guys, it's Mary. Welcome back. Today's been a real struggle, I'm not gonna lie. This camera is giving me fits. But what we're gonna do today is we're going to use the Sydney Grace Summer Days palette, and we're gonna do this eye. So we'll be talking about a couple of movies along the way and doing the rest of my face. So welcome to my face, and let's get going. We're going to use this gorgeous Summer's Day palette in the middle of winter because I want to. I can do that. Okay, so I'm gonna use, I think we're just gonna go right down the middle row and then maybe pop over here. We'll put blood orange underneath here. How about that? Sounds good to me. Think I'd like to do it. I do. Oh, you know what? I haven't even prepped anything yet. I should do that. I love this stuff. Anyway, I think I'm going to have to cough up the $7 for this, for the shipping. I don't know. I was waiting on them to go, you're special, Mary. We're not going to charge you shipping. I don't wear lipstick out anymore. I wear this because the mask just smears it everywhere and nobody sees it anyway. And if you have to take it off like you're eating in a restaurant or whatever, and so you take off your mask, yeah, your lips, they got a tiny bit of color with some balm protecting it for the winter outside, and yet, all right, I'm going to use this concealer. It's by Revlon. It's that Candid concealer. I know, it's not right, as if Robert Welsh would ever watch me, but what I'm saying is, you know, he's like, concealer is not the same as eye primer, and it's not, but it'd do me just good. I have an abundance of concealer, so we're going to use it up. And I don't have a problem doing it. I thought today we could do something fun. Do you remember when I did the Fenty versus MAC dry powder foundation, side by side? I know that a lot of you, because you told me, cannot use a powder foundation because it's too dry. Okay, but I am really curious, since L'Oreal owns Lancôme, to see this infallible, one of you suggested this to me, and I really like it. So will this do as well as this? This is very much cheaper. We shall see. I think a powder foundation is going to be just fine today because I have a vat of moisturizer on me. I don't know. It's like I feel bad for the moisturizers. I'm like, I'm so sorry I didn't use you today. Here, come play with your friend. Put on 15 moisturizers because I feel bad I'm not using them all. Okay, you guys know the drill. Let me show you. This color here is called Sandcastle, Beach Days, S'mores, and what we say? Blood orange. These are our colors today. So here's the first one, the second one, third, and the fourth. And we're going to try to just stick to these four. Go get your glitzy fritzy essential eye set out. Yay! And we're going to do this look. Starting with the E25. If you've never been here before, let me tell you, it probably isn't going to look very good because I can't really see. I don't even know why I have this channel. I took the E25 right into Sandcastle, and we're going to work on the transition here. I'm going to relax my eyes so that this eye can do its little magic. Yeah, see that? See how that's laying down on the job? You're fired. I need to come over this. Okay. So that it kind of gonna look a little bit like the other side when we're done. And I'm just coming into the crease, and yeah. See right there? You know what I love? I love it when the stupid heater comes on right when I start talking, every time. And there's something wrong with the thermostat if I go in there and I mess with it. I don't know. We got lucky. It came back on. But I'm not touching it, or I would go turn it off before I film. But if I do that, there's a good chance it won't come back on. So we're just going to leave it alone, and we just leave it there. Our house is set at 72 degrees all year round. Okay, so that's what I've done. See, there's an orbit bone right here. If you've never heard me say that before, that's what I do. I just feel for the orbit bone. And whatever the skin's doing on top of it, so what? I just ignore it. I'm just going to put the color where the orbit bone is. Skin and all. And then there's a good chance that they'll be even enough that I won't look really funny, especially since I'm lucky enough to wear glasses. You won't notice. You'll be looking at these big old glasses. Also, as annoying as it is, I don't do these sped up. I do them in real time. I might skip one eye, but I'm going to keep it in real time so that you can either, A, do it with me, or you can get an estimate of how long it actually takes. And once again, I know I say this all the time, but for those who've never been here before, if you wonder why I keep looking over there, there's a monitor that allows me to at least see if I'm in focus. If I look at you dead on, I need to have enough color over here that matches what you can see over here. Try to get them as even as you possibly can. If you're lucky enough to not have two different eyes, then good for you. You got no problem. But I myself and a lot of you have one eye that's drooping more than the other. Before YouTube, I would just like do one shade, pretty much on my lid, and I never really noticed until somebody pointed that out to me. Wasn't that lovely of them? Using the E36, just dipping it right down into Beach Days. And I'm going to start here. I'm just going to lay it on the lid here, just tapping on the outside of my lid, tapping it around. And I'll work up a little bit and take the leftover and just kind of circle on top of my eyeball. That's how I'm deepening up my crease. Go in a little more. If you gradually build this up, you will have a better time. Trust me. So very light back here on the back of the brush so that I get just the slightest little bit. Because if I crawl up here, I'm going to get a lot of concentration. So I'm just way back here because I know that Sydney Grace mattes tend to be pigmented. I just don't want to get too much and then have to try and blend it out over the top of all these wrinkles. So we're just doing some light little circling, patting and circling, taking the remainder and coming into the actual crease to deepen that up. And that leaves Sandcastle just a little above it, transitioning between the two. Then I take my clean E36 and lightly blend.
Did you catch me? This is the E35, not the E36.
Before I go any further, I'm going to take my MAC Skin Refine Zone and just bring it over my pores. This doesn't hide my pores, but what it's going to do is clog them up so I get zits. Now, what it's going to do is kind of stop the oil production of them while I have on this makeup. So as the hours go by, I'm not going to have that breakdown of my makeup. Normally, when I'm talking to people and stuff, I don't know why, but I always have my eyebrows up like this. So when they're up like this, this is not a problem. It's when I relax my eyebrows and this comes down. I need to make sure that I can still see the same color over here. So if you're like me, do that. Make sure that your eyeshadow looks pretty good if you have your eyebrows up and if you relax your eyes. Not going to be perfect. They can't be. I mean, just, it's not just you. It's not just me. Go look at celebrities who have professional makeup artists do their makeup, and you will notice you'll see these same flaws. But, you're just used to picking on yourself. Don't do it. Using my E55, it's a shader brush. It's a pretty dense one too, and kind of big. If you have smaller eyes, maybe you want to go for the E32 instead of the E55. I'm just lightly dragging across s'mores. I'm going to lightly come over this with a brush. I usually show you guys how it looks when you use a brush, and then I will intensify it by patting it on with my finger. I don't know if I want to do that today. I probably will, but I love the way that looks. I think that looks really pretty. I'm going to take my pinky and just pick up a little bit more. And right there in the middle, I'm going to tap that on. so that it's a little brighter. Just right there in the middle. Okay, we're going to stop with the eyes for right now and move on because I haven't done the rest of my face. And yeah, let's do the rest of the face, then we'll come back and get the under eye. But I like this so far. Okay, so we're not going to use this one today. This is my Forever Puff. I think the website for that is foreverpuff.com, and you will be helping a company who originated this whole thing. And they're in Canada, I think. But we're not going to do that because I want to keep all things equal. We're going to use this. You guys know what this is. Okay, we're going to use this. They're the same thing. One's smaller than the other, though, because this is the Franken Puff. I had to stitch it because it came apart. So I had to stitch it all the way around, and I guess I made it smaller. But yeah, so we're going to use these then to keep everything equal. I'm going to take this and we're going to come into, if I can get any. Hang on, I hard panned this the other day. I just recently did a video on all the Lancôme foundations, and I hard panned this. Now, I got a comment wanting to know what that means. Well, that means, you know how you get over a powder blush or something like that, face powder, and you will get this shininess over the top, and it's hard. And when you do this, you're not getting anything. No color's coming off, okay, because it's hard panned. And that usually happens sometimes with sweat from yourself. You get the sweat from your skin inside there, and it hard pans it. What I did was I used a sponge that was wet, which it says you can do, okay? And that hard panned it. So now what I got to do is take off the first layer here, and that's what I'm doing. I'm just taking this spoolie and scraping, wasting product. So I'll never do that again. I've done it like 2 or 3 times now. Lancôme probably told us that, so we buy more. Oh, they'll go through it faster if they hard pan it. See, now I got some color. So I'm going to take that and load it up on this. Let's do this side of my face. 1, 2. So I'm just going to start putting that in. I like powder foundations when I am in a hurry. And I'm not going to do a full wear test, okay? This is not a wear test. This is just something fun we're doing. I just want to see if the Lancôme side is actually better than the L'Oreal side. What have you guys been watching on Netflix? Tell me some interesting movies to watch. I watched the Helen Reddy story. Do you guys remember Helen Reddy? I Am Woman. If you're a woman and you're alive right now, you remember Helen Reddy's I Am Woman. Helen had a lot of hits. I remember so many of them. My husband hasn't even heard. Yeah, that's not covering up some mess we got going over there. I'm starting to think that this is from this skincare thing I've been doing. I don't know, because it just keeps happening and only on this side. But anyway, you know, she had, I love this. Okay, a little bit lighter, but not enough that anyone would actually notice. Anyway, so Helen Reddy had a lot of songs, a lot of hits, didn't she? Come on, you know who Helen Reddy is. Well, anyway, I always wondered what happened to her. I was sad to learn that she passed away shortly after this movie was made. That made me sad. Actually, her story is kind of sad. You should watch that if you don't know her story. I sure didn't. You know, I'm just going to tell you that from the get-go, it looks like, and it could be because I ruined the Lancôme, and it's older. It's old. That Lancôme palette is old, okay? It's probably like 8 years old. I'm going to go ahead and bring the L'Oreal over here because I think there might be just a little more coverage. And like I said, I don't think we can get a true sense of that because it is so old. This is brand new. As you can see, there's still some hard pan. So, not really a fair comparison, but I really like this L'Oreal, so I'm just going to bring it over the top of the dual intensity as well. I think if you're looking for an inexpensive powder foundation, this is pretty darn good. Somebody also asked me recently, what's a good bronzer brush from Sigma? Okay, And then Sigma sent me this new line. Oh, why didn't we use this? Let's just put more powder foundation on one too. I want to use this new one from Sigma. I thought it would be good for powder foundation. This is the F85. It's called the Airbrush Kabuki. It does apply powder foundation very nicely. It's a good consistency for it. So yeah, like that. But anyway, let's go back to the bronzer thing. So they sent me these new brushes. I think it's really going to depend on how you like to do your bronzer. For instance, I know people like, this is lovely. I like to do my cheeks. This is not Sigma. This is actually Sonia G Cheek Pro. Okay, look how little that is and how dense that is. So some people really like this. I tend to go for more splay and bigger heads to my brushes that do my cheeks on anything, bronzer, blush, highlight, because I like a more blended all together look. So this F29 is what they are calling a bronze brush. And yes, it will do bronze. But I still recommend this powder brush, this large powder brush, because I don't want like a stripe. And I tend to take a brush like this and I will get more of a stripe. We'll see though. I could be wrong. This does feel like it's got some decent splay to it. But I typically go for a powder brush. Like you can see my Marc Jacobs. Look at the head on that. But what that does is it gives you a really diffused bronze. And that's why I tend to do that. But, you know, they do have brushes that are specifically, it's got some nice movement to it. Like this is for the cheeks. This is for your blush. I tend to use powder brushes for both those things because I like that big head that gives you a really diffused look. My recommendations, if you want the kind of blush and bronzer diffused all over the side of your face look like I tend to do all the time, then I would recommend the Sigma F25 tapered face or the F30 large powder, but I could be wrong. Let's try it. We'll use this on this side and we'll use this on this side. I know I said I wasn't I said I was going to move on to other stuff in my collection, but just today, okay? Just for today. It's ridiculous. Me and this thing is ridiculous. Okay, so I put it down, and can you see any powder on there? This bronzer is easy to control. That actually does have some pretty good movement to it. So maybe their new bronze brush. Oh, okay. Okay. Okay, I lied. That actually will do a really good job with your bronzer. Like Sigma wouldn't know that. Like I know more than Sigma when it comes to brushes. How ridiculous. All right, anyway, so I'll use the powder on this side. Okay, color me wrong. All right, there is a little bit more, you know, it's not as, or is it? It may be exactly the same. So I guess anything I'm showing you will work. This does have some nice movement to it. I like that. I didn't think I was going to like it for this, but I do. I like it. I like it. But what about the cheek one? I don't know. That does, well, it's got some nice splay to it too. Let's use this Clarins blush 01 Cheeky Baby. Let's use Cheeky Baby on here. Now, Cheeky Baby is really a light blush, you know, because it's Clarins, and Clarins goes for that really, is she wearing makeup or is she not? So I don't know, we might have to switch. This is good if you aren't wearing bronzer, you know, you don't want to have to compete with the bronzer. You just want a little flush of color. This blush is really good for that. I'm going to put it up because it actually does the best with its own little brush that I keep in there. I'm going to use this Almay blush instead because I really want a pink cheek. Oh yeah, that's pretty. Okay. Okay. Helen may have lived long enough to see the movie about her. I don't know for sure though, but it said at the end of it, Helen is, living blah, 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 doing whatever at the end of the movie. So she was alive when they made the movie, but I don't know if she ever got to see it or not. But I thought the girl who played her did a wonderful job. You should watch that if you haven't already. If you have seen it, I'd like to know what you thought. Another movie I watched was called Radium Girls. You guys probably have guessed that I would watch that, right? Because for those of you who don't know it, this, by the way. For those of you who don't know it, I was an Xray tech. Of course, I'm going to watch Radium Girls. So I was really interested in that because I already knew the story behind that. But if you don't, watch that movie. Like at one time, they would actually have these X-ray machines in the shoe stores, right? They didn't put this in the movie. I just know this from studying in school. We had to know all kinds of stuff that was really important, but we also had to learn a lot of things that were not important to doing the job, just interesting little tidbits like what the dose is to kill an armadillo. They used to have these in the shoe store, okay? And then you would stick your feet in them to see if they fit. Yeah. I mean, they really didn't understand what they were playing with. But X-ray is not to be played with. Talk about the funny things you had to learn. I mean, I had a teacher who actually, now I'm not good at puzzles, like brain teasers. No, if you have to use your brain, I just ask Siri. I need to stop that because my brain is deteriorating because of it. But I mean, truly, I don't think I know how to multiply anymore. Anyway, so part of this class, which was upsetting me a lot, because when I graduated, I was at the top of my class. I had dang near a perfect score. And this teacher was messing with it. Anywho, this teacher would put like the last question on a radiobiology test. And I would like get all the radiobiology right and the problems and all of it, okay? And then she'd put a question that was like, you go into a dark room, there's 30 socks in the drawer, blah, 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 I'm like, really? So I went up to her one day. I'm like, why are you putting these questions on this test? Because, I know the material. I know my stuff, right? And it's not fair that I don't have the kind of brain that thinks like this. And she said, part of your job is critical thinking. You have to be able to functionally, critically think about a problem and solve it. And I'm like, I don't want to give you too much information and spoil that movie for you and those trivia things that you might not know. Okay, let's just say there were these poor girls, and what they didn't know definitely hurt them. All right, let's finish the eyes. So we're going to take the E46 now, and I'm going to drag through here this color, load up my brush with it. Lightly pull through Basque right here on the inner corner. Brighten it up just a little bit. Okay, camera's winning. Totally getting on my nerves today, so I'm going to put on my mascara off camera and then do my hair, and I'll be back. All right then, I want you guys to know, hope you always remember, you're the best part of the Fritzy family. And if you're not having a blessed day, just go out, be a blessing to somebody else. And until next time, love you, see ya. Bye. And I'm out.
This mug, I think it's just supposed to be a decoration mug. Look what it says on it. I flunked anger management. It's my hubby's mug, but it leaks. I'll be right back. What is this bubbling going on here? That's weird. I can't see that with my real eyes. I can see it with my fake eyes, though. I don't know what that is. I can't see that in real life. You look look like you have on some lip color. You look like you got on some lip color. Now, what it's going to do is kind of stop the oil production of them while I have on this makeup, so that as the days go by, I'm gonna leave the makeup on for days. I naturally have my eyebrow. Angie, baby. You get a prize if you can figure out my brain. If you're a woman, you remember Helen Reddy. You know, I am woman, hear me roar, the number's too big to ignore. Remember? Angie, baby, Angie, baby, Delta Dawn, what's that powder you put on? Could it be a hard pan thing from Lancôme? Stop it, Mary. Or the fact that they had these Xray machines in, what's it called? What's that thing called where you go buy shoes? A shoe store. You know what? I'm going to try this. I'm going to take some of this powder. Let's put it on the back of my age spots. Oh my gosh. It's like Death Becomes Her. Remember when Meryl Streep and Goldie Hawn can't wait for Bruce Willis to paint them so they're flawless again? Oh my gosh, my hands are young again. You know, what she would like to do was she would give you hello? What she liked to do is give you a brain. Look at me! I'm not kidding you. I'm not kidding you. I just don't really like this color. I think it's just a little bit too dark, and I get... You know where you can go? Yeah, you can go right here on my face. Hello? I think this pencil gets a little bit too dark. I hate you. Like, as soon as I start talking about the story, the camera goes out of focus. That's really making me mad. But anyway. So, now watch, it's going to go out of focus because I'm going to start telling the story again. Maybe I'm not supposed to tell you the story. See?